Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Win with Heather Havenwood. I am super excited about today's call because it's a friend of mine and my personal trainer. Woo! My personal trainer, I guess, right? So I'm super excited to have you here. Listen up. She's got a very personal story that we're going to discuss today. And I promise you she won't share anything bad about me when I was training with her. Right, Meryl? I'm just kidding.
Right.
I was the perfect client, right?
Exactly.
I'm
Yes.
just kidding.
You're great.
I was perfect time. All right, my name is Heather Havenwood, and welcome to The Win. So who Meryl Carey is, she's from Scotland, but she lives here in Austin, Texas. And I'm going to let her share her personal story and who she is in the world. But for me, she was, for me, when we worked together, Meryl, you were a personal trainer for me, but also a friend. I think that's what happens with personal training. I always believe that personal trainers need to have two licenses, to personal train and to be like a psychotherapist, right? Because I think that's what happens when we're dealing with our body and our emotions and our eating. It really is way more than just the food or just the workout or just the 20 pounds or the 50 pounds. But I will say that when we worked together, you really pushed me beyond what I thought was possible. You're the one that got me into what I call deadlifting and like really hardcore stuff. And I just really love that about you. So I just want to acknowledge you, and I'm super excited to have you on The Win today to share your personal story, what you've gone through with your personal training, but also your body and your health. So I kind of want to pass it on to you. Tell people who you are and where you come from.
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on this show. I'm really excited, and it's so good to connect with you again. Yes, you were the perfect client, and I had so much fun with you. And, something that I remember about you during our training is that you were so driven, and you just knew what you wanted to do, and you did it, and you showed up, and you put forth all your energy and all your dedication. So good round of applause for you. My name is Meryl Carey, and like Heather said, I'm originally from Scotland, even though it doesn't sound like it. I have lived in the States for about 12 years. And fun fact, I just got my U.S. citizenship 2 weeks ago.
I remember I saw that on Instagram. That's super awesome. Congratulations. How long did it take you to do that?
Oh, years.
Yeah, 10 years.
Yeah, it was complicated, and I had to hire a lawyer, and it was this whole process, but I've got it now. I just got my passport, and now I can travel internationally, hopefully hassle-free. So that's exciting. But yeah, I am from Scotland. I have moved around a lot. I lived in the Middle East. I lived in Chile, in South America, in New Orleans, and I've lived in Austin for 10 years. So Austin's my home, and I love it, and I love the vibrancy, and there's so much healthy, active, outdoorsy things to do here. And so I just love it. And I'm a personal trainer. I've been running a personal training business for several years now. It's called MC Fit. And I'm also currently working towards becoming a nutritional therapist, and I'm about to embark on a journey to become a yoga instructor. So that's really exciting.
That's cool. I didn't see that part of you. When I saw that, I was like, wow, yoga instructor. I don't see that in Meryl, because you're this, by the way, people understand, if you ever go to her Instagram page, which is instagram.com/Meryl Carey, and I'll spell that MERYLCAREY. If you scroll about a year and a half ago, you were doing like these, climbing up ropes and stuff, like upside down. And this weird, like, she's this powerhouse girl that you see all these pictures of her. She's like, doing some kind of like push-ups upside down or some weird stuff. She's just a powerhouse, right? So I just want to get y'all a view of who we're talking to today. You're like a little powerhouse. So when I heard that you were doing yoga, I just never saw that in you, because you're just like, so I'm like, wow, that's awesome that she's kind of shifted into more space, and yoga is definitely more of a spiritual and feminine. So, we're on here today to talk about your journey. What's changed in the last year and a half since you and I last saw each other? What happened?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you bring that up, because I was a powerhouse, and that's how I lived my whole life, was being an athlete and being driven by competition and performance and intense activities. I rode my bike from Austin to Alaska, 4,000 miles, and I competed in powerlifting competitions and broke Texas state records in the bench, squat, and deadlift. And I did figure competitions. And so all of those sports are very intense. And I got injured And that kind of sent me into this downward spiral of depression and who am I, and made me kind of question my worth. And it just brought a lot of stress into my life because I couldn't compete and perform the way I was used to doing, right? So it was kind of the first time in my life that I was like, oh, I'm not invincible. And I can't just waltz into this powerlifting competition and squat 230 pounds, you know? And so I really had to take a step back from that type of training. And I still had a lot of stress going on. I was trying to run my personal training business, but I didn't feel good physically. And so that created a lot of emotions for me. It was difficult to go into the gym and train all of my clients when I wasn't feeling good in my own body.
Yeah, that really happens a lot. I know for myself when, and other people I know who are doing business coaching, or they're doing money coaching, or they're doing nutritional coaching, and they themselves are not in alignment, or they're not 100% on their path. And it's challenging in any kind of a coaching environment, training environment, where the coach or trainer, they're dealing with their own stuff inside of the same context that they're training. I know for myself, that's happened to me. I know other people that's happened to when they're like being this business coach or this powerhouse coach, and yet at the same time, the background, they're dealing with a bunch of different things personally. So what happened?
Yeah.
You get injured, and then what happened?
Right. So just to set the scene, lots of stress in my life, and just a general disconnect from myself. And just kind of suddenly out of nowhere, I got hit with severe intestinal trauma. And this was in May 2016. So a couple years ago now. And I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what was going on. And I went to all sorts of different doctors. And then I went to a specialist who recommended that I needed surgery. So I went ahead with the surgery, and he said that it was just a 2-week recovery time, and then I would be back at work. Great, let's do it. At this point, I was so sick that I couldn't get out of the bed or off the couch. I could barely move, and I wasn't eating. And so the surgery seemed like my best option at the time. So I go for the surgery, and after the surgery, things just spiraled out of control. I got even more sick, and I ended up in hospital. So I'm in the hospital, and they do a colonoscopy, and they discovered that my whole entire colon is inflamed and ulcerated and bleeding. Sorry if that's TMI.
No, that's
but
fine.
that was what was happening. And they suggested that I might have Crohn's disease. I had never even heard of Crohn's disease. I don't think. It's an autoimmune disorder. It's an inflammatory bowel disease, and it's chronic. And it's terrible. It's awful. And it's also, it's invisible. It's not visible to the public eye. And it's currently incurable, and it can sometimes be fatal, actually. So
the thing that I'm hearing with all of this, because knowing you and being around you, you're this powerhouse, strong, empowerment woman, and I can tell that getting this diagnosis and going through this, there's a piece of the diagnosis is one thing, and then there's personal. I would call it the ego, but more of a personal connection to higher self of like, oh my God, this doesn't happen to me. You know, like no, this is not happening to me. Can't be happening to me. Look at me, I'm Meryl. Like, look at these pictures. This is not happening to me. I can really relate to that. Like, I'm beyond this. I'm healthy. I mean, I see people all day long on how to be healthy, and here I am in the hospital. Like, it's almost this weird disconnect in your head. I'm sure you're kind of dealing with of a grief, in a way, of overwhelming grief. What was that? I mean, not to go too deep, but what was that like for you? Did you experience that, what I'm sharing?
Absolutely. Yeah, I did. You just hit the nail on the head. Not only was it was a shock. It was a shock to be told that you have this chronic autoimmune disorder that is so disconnected from the Meryl that I knew for 29 years. This powerhouse, as you say, this athlete, this personal trainer. I mean, my body is my job. And at this point, I had lost throughout the illness. I was ill, severely ill, bedridden on and off for an entire year.
Wow.
So yes, with that comes isolation,
Yeah.
fear, depression, and just a whole identity crisis for
Yeah, it
me.
really is an identity crisis. I can relate to this myself. I mean, when I went through for me it was bankruptcy and foreclosure back in 2007 and 8. I remember when it was happening, it was like it was happening, but it wasn't happening. You know, it was kind of this like, is this happening? Because this hasn't happened to me, and I'm smart and I'm intelligent, and I used to teach people how to buy and sell houses and make money, and now I'm going through this massive foreclosure and I'm smarter than this. There was a lot of an identity to it.
Yeah.
For myself, I just had to have, it was like I was living in a dream slash nightmare at the same time. It took me a while to kind of come out of the fog, you know, like,
Yeah.
oh, this is reality and I have to deal with this reality. Is this really happening to me, or am I watching a movie? I don't know that you've experienced that. Sounds like you have, like you just, knowing you, I mean, I trained with you, I saw you, I hung out with you. You were like just this, you still are, but I can just imagine for someone who's such a powerhouse of you are, and that really is the best word for you, that you just fell into this and you were hitting a wall. You hit a wall. And I can know that people listening can relate to this. That's why I wanted you on, is because I know people can relate to this. Yours was health. Mine was massive financial.
Yeah.
And having to all of a sudden, for myself, someone who's independent woman, having to rely on people, like, no. You know what I mean? That was hard too. So I'm curious, you know, I know you're married, but what was that like for you and your relationship with your husband?
It really brought us closer together. I feel like something like that can make or break a relationship. I'm so thankful for Adam. Don't know what I would have done without him. He works the entire time. Because of him, I had health insurance. He took care of me. He cooked for me. He would sometimes have to lift me up out of bed and help me get dressed and help me get in and out of the bath. That's how debilitated I was. And so he was my savior and my light, and it definitely strengthened our relationship. And, you know, you talk about me being a powerhouse, and yes, I was a powerhouse on the outside, but I think I'm even more powerful on the inside now after this illness. I think it really taught me to dig deep and go inside and connect with my true self. And I learned patience, perseverance. I learned to slow down and to live in the moment and to never take my health for granted, to never take a day on this earth that we are so lucky to be here, to never take a day or a breath or a moment or an opportunity for granted. And that's something I didn't have before my illness.
No, you were pretty driven too. You were
Yeah.
very driven. Yeah. And I remember seeing you on stage. You won. Remember, you won your
Yes, that was
bodybuilding.
fun.
National bodybuilding. You won your very first show.
That was
National
so
bodybuilding.
fun.
You got your pro card. National
Yeah.
bodybuilding was there when you got that, and I just that was actually the last time I saw you. So,
Yeah.
but all of a sudden I got your email a couple weeks ago, and you've been through this whole thing. I was like,
Yeah.
what? You know what?
Yeah.
What is going on? Because you just again, you were, from my view, you were just this powerhouse. Like, you're handled, you know,
Yeah.
and there was an immense amount of respect for that. But I also understand we all go through something, and we all go through something that what call throws us to the wind, it throws us to the wall. I know for myself, when I went through my personal one, which is the financial, I had to really kind of get to a point where I had to realize that I'm not my money. You know, you talk about you were your body. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm more than that. I'm more than that. I'm
Right.
way
Yeah.
more than just I had built a business from $0 to $1 million. Like, I actually have more depth than that. And I
Yeah.
think that that's something you're going through too. So
Yeah.
where are you now with that? Where are you now with everything? It's been almost 2 years since the diagnosis. How are things now?
I am feeling a lot better. I lost, I think I told you, I lost 25 pounds over the course of the year, and I'm only 120. So that's a big deal
Yeah,
for me.
you're tiny. She's a little power pack. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're a little,
Yeah.
little power pack.
I didn't recognize myself, Heather. I just didn't recognize myself in the mirror. And, you know, like you say, as the personal trainer and the athlete that I am, that was pretty crushing. for me.
Yeah, I can imagine, right?
But just like you said, we are more than our bodies, right? We are so much more than what we are physically capable of. And it's so much more about what's in the inside. And where am I now? I'm feeling a lot better after a year of searching for answers and failing different treatment plans. Actually, one of the medications I tried paralyzed me, and I couldn't move a finger. And I ended up back in hospital and back on steroids. I was on steroids on and off for 6 months. And I met this IBD specialist in Houston who got me on this good treatment plan, which I started last May. And since then, I have regained my health and my energy. And I'm starting my business back up. I started personal training again in October, and I am working on that, and I'm working on a nutrition course, and in June I will be graduating as a nutritional therapy practitioner, which fits perfectly with what I'm going through with Crohn's disease. I hope to help other people who have Crohn's or another autoimmune disorder or some digestive issue or whatever they're suffering from. Hope to help others with that. And I'm also, I'm going to start a course to become a yoga instructor. And then just, mentally and emotionally, I feel like I'm in a better place. I just feel more connected to myself, which helps me to feel more connected with other people. And I'm just on a journey of soul searching and just, just kind of.
Yeah, you're just finding your own way. And I think that's what happens. You have to find your own way out. No one can really make you go a particular way. I think that's one of the things that happens when we deal with any kind of disaster or catastrophe or whatever our thing is. Everyone has their own story. It's like there's a moment where we have to kind of crawl our own way out. And some people tell us, well, you should do this or you should go left. It's kind of one of those moments you're like, I don't need to hear anything. I need to actually find my way out of this canal here. And I remember that experience myself when I'm sitting there in Marco Island, I'm living on someone's couch, completely broke. And I'm just like, I don't know who I am. Who the hell am I? What am I doing? I can't even get a job as a waitress at this point. They were like, no, fired me as a waitress. I think the last and I'm sitting here going, I can't even get a job as a waitress. Like, who am I? What am I doing? Who am I? What's going on? And I will never forget, like, I just kind of got this download. It's like, who I am is an entrepreneur. And it was kind of this moment of like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
On this beach by myself, financially broke, because I had this view of like entrepreneurship equals success. And that's not true. It's like for me, for like an athlete, an entrepreneur is someone that creates. It's like an artist. They create, they build, they create, they build, they create, they build. It doesn't matter if you fail, succeed. Like an athlete. If you look at an athlete, like say NFL player, you don't look at them and go, well, why didn't you get every single play? They go, well, you fail, succeed, fail, succeed, fail, succeed, fail, succeed. And then you hopefully win the Super Bowl, or maybe not. Maybe you go back the next season and try again. It's about the failure. It's not about the success. It's about how many times you get back up and say, what's happening now and how can I alter? And who I thought I was 5 years ago or 2 years ago is not who I am now. So for myself, it gave me this sparkle to say, if I'm an entrepreneur, me building something, or a radio show or a podcast or a book or whatever, it doesn't matter if it even succeeds, as long as it's supporting and helping other people, then that's the goal. So for yourself, it's like, you're going through this process of getting a yoga instructor and then nutritional therapy, which is so up your alley, and going back to your personal training, you're saying, hey, this is who I am. I'm just coming from a different view now.
Yeah.
Really help more people, because I can, when someone comes to me and goes, I have this autoimmune disease, you can come from, I understand.
Yeah.
I can really be there for you, and I can really support you in a way that other people can't. And that's why they're going to choose you over other people.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you're very right. I think it's very powerful to be able to actually relate to people.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Your story is so different from mine, but they are so similar. At the end of the day, it's all about who am I and what's my purpose in life. And so
I think it happens everyone, when we get out of high school or college or somewhere in that time frame, we just kind of like move into some path because, I don't know, someone told us we should do that when we were 16 or something. And then there's somewhere along the way, usually around the 30s-ish, late 20s, mine was 32 when I went through mine. It was like this big, hitting of the wall and
Yeah.
crashing and like, what do I do now? And that's those moments where you stop listening to your parents or whatever you said to yourself when you're 15 or 16 or 18 or 20, and you start to listen to another side of you, and you start to listen to your higher self and go, this is not right for me. What do I want?
Yeah.
What do I want? What do I need? What can I do now? And it's a kind of a trajectory blow up, So I completely understand it. I mean, everyone has their own path. Sometimes people's divorce. Mine was bankruptcy and foreclosure and business partner. Yours is health and well-being. I mean, I think everyone has their path. But now when people come to me and go, you don't understand. I just had this business partner and they blew it up. I'm like, I understand. Like, no. I feel your pain and I can walk you through this. So that's going to same thing happen to you when someone comes to you and goes, I don't know what to do. I've just got diagnosed with this disease. I'm scared. You can go, I can hold your hand, because you've been there, and that's so valuable in the world. I think it's pretty powerful. So what are you doing now? You talked about you're doing some, or like an organization, a charity to support this cause. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I'm volunteering for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, which is the largest voluntary nonprofit organization dedicated to finding cures of inflammatory bowel disease.
Oh, wow.
And the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation are hosting an event on May 19th at the Long Center in Austin. And it's actually on National IBD Day. So that's kind of cool. And it's their 10th annual event. And it's called Take Steps. And it's an event to raise money for medical research to hopefully find a cure for Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. And it's also an event to spread awareness because so many people don't know about this disease and it's not talked about, and it can make people feel uncomfortable. So many people talk about cancer and this and that. No one talks about Crohn's disease and going to the bathroom 15 times a day and not being able to get out of bed because you're having severe intestinal trauma. It's just not talked about.
Right. It's definitely not talked about. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, the event is to, first and foremost, spread awareness, share some hope, and give some support to people and families and kids that are suffering from the disease, and ultimately to raise money for medical research to help find a cure.
Well, I love this. I'm going to give everybody the URL. So if you're in Austin, go check it out. If you're not in Austin, that's okay too. You can still donate to all over the country. I'm going to give you the URL now. Ready? It's CC, like Charlie, CC, take steps, that's plural, .org. Now, if you're in Austin, there's a / Austin 2018. I'm going to give you the URL one more time. It's CC, take steps, .org / Austin 2018, or just go to cctakesteps.org and just check them out and see if this really resonates with you, or maybe you have someone in your life. A dear friend of mine actually died from colon cancer, and it started out, I believe, as IBS, and I don't know, but I just remember she died at a very young age, exactly my age right now. She died a couple of years ago when I was in Florida, and it killed me. She was a dear friend of mine, just brought me to tears. And she's a really important person in my life then and now. She was a coach and a friend and just a mentor of mine. And it can really take down somebody and she said to me, no one's talking about this. And she's actually the one who actually helped me change my entire lifestyle because of what she was going through. And even on her deathbed, no kidding, her deathbed, she made a difference in the world because she was talking about it. So you have this amazing opportunity to help women, right? Really women and men too. But I think that women have this hard time of talking about that thing. And I think that you have this opportunity to kind of raise as a massive awareness. And I love that you're coming from a different view, which is, hey, I've been there, I'm healthy. I was as Powerhouse, and then I got hit over the head.
Yeah.
I'm still a powerhouse, but I'm in a new way, in a new space, in a new energy. And I think that's really more you. You seem more peaceful, at peace.
I am.
You seem way more like chill. In my experience with you last time, it's years ago, by the way, very driven, like, right. Like I was too. So don't I'm not dissing you. I'm still like that. I still have to calm myself down and be chill out and there's no competition out there. But I just remember you were intense. You were a great trainer for me, but you were super intense. And I think that you're coming from a different place of peace, and that's really going to support your clients and people around the world.
Yeah, thank you. I think you just hit the nail on the head. Exactly. And just to add, if you want to go to that URL and donate, that would be so much appreciated. And
Yes.
if you want to donate to my team in particular, my team's name is, are you ready for this?
What?
Mighty Mouse.
Oh, I forgot. That was your nickname.
Yes.
So that was, okay, so that was Meryl's nickname when I was introduced to her as a trainer. She's like, this is Mighty Mouse. And I was like, oh, good. If you meet her, she's like this, like short, you know, like a Meryl Carey. You know what I mean? Like that's what you always reminded me of. You're actually taller than Meryl Carey, but you just like a Mighty Mouse, like a roar, you know. And I remember one of the first times I met you, you like took a rope and you just like climbed up it with just your arms. I'm like, what the hell is she doing? And they're like, that's Mighty Mouse. I'm like, I get it. I got it. That's yeah, I can't do that. I'm not gonna be able to do that. Can we still train together? Because like I ain't doing that. But I just love the fact that I forgot that was your nickname. It is Mighty Mouse. So everyone listening, I just highly, 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 if you don't even know what Crohn's disease is, if you're just clueless about it, but you just really want to say, hey, I just want to help somebody out across the country and make yourself feel good today. Because I think that when we give, even if it's just to a stranger, we feel better. I remember when Harvey hit in Houston, people were just giving and giving and giving. And the ones that gave felt good. They just felt so good about themselves of like, wow, I just gave to a stranger and it just felt so good. And I just remember that so well. And I think that's part of this is I want to be able to give to you. And that's why I brought you on the show of like, hey, let's support you. Let's support you in what you're creating and what you're up to, because you're going to be helping so many more people that we don't even know yet. You're going to touch so many lives in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. They're going to come to you and go, I want to get in shape, but really I want to feel good again. And I don't want to be in pain anymore. Can you help me? Is there another way outside of just the doctors? Or what's been your experience on the mindset as a woman? You know, that's just so much more there that I think you're going to be able to give value. So I'm going to give the URL again one more time. It's cctakesteps.org/Austin 2018. And it's Mighty Mouse, right? So true. Oh my God. If you want to check out Meryl on Instagram, you can go to instagram.com/Meryl Carey. I'll spell it for you. MERLYCAREY. She's really big on Instagram. And she has her picture of when she got now a United States citizen, which was fun to see that. That was cool.
It's so close. MERYLCAREY.
I apologize. That's my fault. MERYLCAREY. So go check her out on Instagram as well as Facebook, but more Instagram. She's an Instagram girl.
Thanks, Heather. This has been great.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. And everyone please go take it. You take the time, $10, $5, $20, $25. No Starbucks today, no Frappuccino. You know what I mean? Give to Crohn's disease way better than a Frappuccino. Believe me, because in that Frappuccino, you would never drink it again, just so you're clear. But go check it out. cctakesteps.org 2018 Mighty Mouse. All right, everyone, this is Heather Havenwood. You can check it out at heatherhavenwood.com. We are on Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, all over in between. Talk soon.